Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, and we will go straight over to those Bitcoin charts. So yeah, Bitcoin on the 4 hour. Yeah, as you can see, we have got so far supported at this higher level of support we've got within our larger range. Actually have managed to retake that other level, that previous level, the previous higher level of support. So this is actually looking pretty good. I just will caveat everything I say on the basis that I do pretty much expect most weekends just to be ranging sideways action. So just based on what I'm looking at now, if I just extend this across, my prediction, my crystal ball prediction for the weekend is that we just basically trade in this range. I wouldn't expect us to break down. We had the chance to do that, and we haven't basically, and we are bounced off it nicely, and I wouldn't expect us to break out to the upside either. So yeah, as I pretty much say a lot of the time, weekend price action, weekend ranging price action. Are we gonna basically form a bit of a Quasimodo inverse head and shoulders, and just come out and take this level out in this area early next week? Potentially that could be happening, or this could just be not be an efficacious chart pattern, but we'll see how it works out. Obviously this horizontal, I prefer horizontals. That will be a clear level that will trigger a move upwards. And yeah, I mean this neckline is gonna coincide with roughly this breakout area for a good couple of days anyway. So yeah, obviously the downside is looking pretty clear for us at the moment. We have not that we've confirmed a local high here, but we have a lower high, and if we potentially form a lower high here and then break down below this support level of 18,500, and the next level is roughly, well, we'll just call it roughly 17,500, so $1,000 below. A pullback to this level would not look so bad. In true Bitcoin fashion, we could get a push up, a wick above these highs here to FOMO some people in, and then an absolute insane smash down straight down to this level. Don't write that off as a possibility, guys. Do not write that off as a possibility, because that is how Bitcoin rolls. So yeah, just be aware of that. There are lots of people very interested in Bitcoin at the moment, and by people I mean like hedge funds, I mean institutional investors to use that frame. I think we spent all of like 2018 or something talking about institutional investors, but yeah, I mean clearly like micro strategies and people of that ilk are looking at putting some of their cash on balance sheet in Bitcoin. So that is about as institutional as you get, I guess. Obviously we got pension funds can't really custody it yet, yeah, I mean, to be honest, so far as how far Finance 1.0 will embrace Bitcoin and Finance 2.0, I'm not sure the full extent of, but it is definitely becoming more mainstream. Anyway, I've digressed. What my only point was is my only point of all that was that people are looking to buy this. Basically, big players are looking to buy this, and big players have got the ability to actually mess about with price action a lot. So if they do force a dump, obviously that's in their benefit to do so, and then try and pick Bitcoin up cheaper. I know that is the same conspiratorial things that people were talking about in 2018 again. They were like, institutions just want to sell make Bitcoin lower so they can then buy it all back up again. I know that I'm starting to sound a bit like that, but it could definitely be a play, because they definitely are buying and interested now. They're not in it for like a quick trade. They're in it for the longer run, so they would happily get a price smashed down and buy. But they are a decentralized bunch. They're not all working together as one cabal. So whether they have the ability to do that, it remains to be seen. Way back when, you guys watching me way back when will remember I was talking about the same thing down basically the same thing, I believe down here. I was talking about the big players will be interested in trying to break us below this level to basically set off a chain reaction to the downside. And it was this level that was the level to try and break, and it did seem they were trying to break us below so they could trigger a load of sells and then start to buy up from a lower level. But what happened was, and we were talking about it at the time, we were talking about how they were sort of like trying to hold the inflated balloon underwater, and eventually they couldn't do it, and then price exploded up. We did then get a good pullback, well, just a back test of the breakout level, textbook fashion there, and then this basically parabolic run. So they're probably going to attempt a similar thing up here, basically, is what I'm saying. They're probably going to try and attempt to get Bitcoin a bit lower just so they can buy and then literally explode us through all-time highs, and we will go parabolic then. So yeah, just total BS. I'm just talking there, guys. I mean, total rubbish, clearly total rubbish. I mean, maybe I was just wrong about what's happening here, but I don't personally think so. And maybe I'm wrong about what could potentially happen here, but I don't personally think so. And even if it doesn't happen, that's not to say they're not going to try, like they did try here and I believe failed. Apologies, tried here and I believe failed. They may try here and they may fail. But they may not fail. We are quite elevated at the moment, so a lot more elevated than well, actually, yeah, that is just we were clearly a lot more elevated off this run from this March low. So actually more elevated. We're basically about the same. So, I mean, this also does, if you kind of look at this move, if you look at this move from the March low, and then this sideways, and then this move up we've had now, it is relatively similar, and that does tell me we have got a long form sideways consolidation to go into early next year before we then start to go crazy. Obviously, everyone's whipped up in the bullish action at the moment and expecting us just to go crazy right now. And to be honest, even breaking all-time highs, getting up to 23k and then consolidating here, or maybe in this massive wide range, would still look fine, price-wise, action-wise, and would still be a big breakup, wouldn't it, to 23k? So, yeah, just a bigger picture look, just a weekend bigger picture look at it. Dollar index, obviously, closed pretty low. This information is going to get digested this weekend and potentially acted on into the coming weeks. That this price action being confirmation of basically just the dollar tanking, basically. So not really much else to say about that. Stocks clearly liking it as well. Stocks closed very high. This information is going to get digested this weekend also, and this is going to potentially lead to more buying into stocks in the coming weeks as well. So lots of interesting things happening. Nice bounce, Ethereum USD, nice bounce about in the middle of the range. So we want to retake this range about the midpoint. I mean, this is another concept we talk about, the midpoint range of this move down. You guys might notice, you might watch other technical analysts and they might just try and make themselves sound smart with what they're doing and what they're talking about, but there are very simple concepts like just midpoints of ranges, or midpoints of like moves, that are just important, like are probably more important to look at to understand price action than, like, say, technical indicators and just trying to look smart like other TA people might do, just so they can try and sell you their programs or whatever they're trying to sell you, basically. But there are simple concepts that definitely people should be aware of, and this is basically one of them. You can even see the midpoint in this test here was here. We sort of consolidated under it, then once we broke above, we did the 100% retrace, which is what I was talking about at the time. And these are all fractals. They obviously work on smaller time frames, larger time frames, and we are currently at that midpoint. So do we get rejected here and then come back down, or do we break above here, in which case we'd expect a full retrace and then potentially beyond? So yeah, definitely something to think about there, guys. The Ethereum Bitcoin pairing, which is an important one for me, yeah, I mean, this again is, look, it's pretty much a midish point retest and then rejection, so we are holding below. We haven't managed to come back down, but yeah, if we can get back above this level, we will look, Ethereum will go on a run. I think I expect if we get above here, we're going to have $700 Ethereum. So yeah, Bitcoin dominance. Yeah, I mean, it basically came and tested this trend line, this horizontal that we've got in. So rejected from it currently. Is this a what's it called? Not a bump and run. Is it what's it called? What did that? Oh, I forgot what that trader called it. I forgot what the famous trader's name is now, let alone what he called it. A slingshot. Is this a slingshot? It's not exactly a slingshot reversal, but is this sort of a, because we're not necessarily going to reverse this trend, but have we slingshotted, is that a word, to basically the upside out of this pattern, and we're now basically going to come and whipsaw back in the other direction, back down to this level. All I will say is hopefully. We'll have to see what happens. Obviously, if we get support at any point here, or not support, but just basically brought back up and break above this level, this is obviously our next target. But if we do keep coming down, especially if we get down below here, then I would expect acceleration to the downside in this. So yeah, back over to Bitcoin, back over, let's just basically sort this out a little bit so we can see what we're looking at. Here we go. We'll have a look at the stochastics. Are those 12-hour and 10-hour on daily starting to look a bit better for us? Let's have a look. 4 hour for a start is looking like it could give us some potential upside. If this turns back up and starts to make some progress to the upside. I mean, yeah, 10 hour still bullish resetting. 12 hour got lots of bullish. I mean, I say bullish resetting. That's just a bit of a bias spin on it. But basically coming down. I mean, this may drag price action down, and we may break below that 18,500 level. But yeah, 10 hour coming down. 12 hour coming down. Daily not looking so direct to the upside. And then obviously 2-day coming down, but not looking as directly to the downside, and 3-day coming down, but again not looking as directly to the downside. And 5-day, we won't really look at the things this high up, just to gauge the time frame price action that we are looking at. So yeah, I mean, if this if the 4 hour just start to get momentum here, potentially turn back these stochastics, so yeah, things will look great. But if price action just stays where it is, and these come down a bit, and then yeah, it will just be a bullish reset. It will be a bullish reset, and then I feel like if those 10 and 12 hours come down and start to turn up again, that will be our best shot of smashing through this level and getting to that 23k. So yeah, that is it, guys. Remember, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I will speak to you guys later on today.